This the book of 2nd Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world he made. Barak thy Yahweh, Barak thy Yahweh Shai, Barak thy Yahweh, Barak thy Yahweh Shai, Barak thy Yahweh, Barak thy Yahweh Shai, call Lord La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, rule well, been a great example to the younger brothers in the truth, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and Lord willing, this edifying. And I'm coming raw with this one. I ain't got nothing but this first precept, measured out of time diligently, and this another addition to measured out of time diligently. And we're going to get straight into it, Lord willing, this edifying.
Yeah, I find it that we come from the serpent. We come from some kind of reptilian race, that the origins of humans and the origins of the
Now let's read that, because we don't come from no damn serpent or no reptilian race. So let's get into this, try to go through that real quick. Let's go to second, not second. Let me pull it up in the scripture. I can flip through the Bible faster than pulling it up on it. This Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9, because when it speak about the serpent, let me pull up the blue letter. The blue letter and go to Genesis, because what's going on? Well, I go to Revelation, matter of fact. Revelation. Salakia. Salakia. Trying to get this in the blue letter. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 9. Let's get straight to the point. And it reads, and that great dragon was cast out. Yeah. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, which is called the devil and Satan, which delivered the whole world, which deceiveth the whole world, which delivered the whole which deceiveth the whole world. Damn, true. He cast out, he was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now that's going into matter of fact, let's read up. This Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. It reads, and there was war in heaven. This didn't happen yet. This is gonna happen when the Lord returns. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and the dragon fought in his angels, going into the fighter jets and different things of that nature, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. Yeah, because the military is going to be destroyed once the Lord pull up, man. And that old dragon was cast out. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Yeah, going into what? Matter of fact, let's keep going. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come the salvation and strength and kingdom of our God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and the power of his anointed, Yahweh Shai. Well, Yahweh and the strength of and the power of his anointed, and the power of his anointed going to Yahweh Shai. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Going into who? Esau Edom. This nigga is finna be cast down. That's that old serpent, which is called the devil and Satan. Let's go to, matter of fact, let's look that word up. Certain. Serpent. Not certain. Serpent. Yeah. I'm gonna look that up. It's a serpent. Snake, serpent. It's a the second definition. It's a matter of fact, let me play it. What it say? This in the Greek.
Strong's G 3789.
Office. Office.
Office.
It's a with ancient the serpent was an emblem of cunning and wisdom. The serpent who deceived Eve was regarded by the Jews as the devil. Matter of fact, let me go to Genesis now because they may have changed it because in Genesis, all right, we're going into the root word of serpent, and it say, cause this all the serpent was. It say to practice divination, basically a witch, divine observer of signs, learn by experience, diligently observe, practice fortune telling, take as take as an omen, to practice divination, to observe the signs or omens, and that's all Esau is. He's a warlock. He's a witch, and it reads, um, matter of fact, let's play it. I don't know how to say it. Let's see.
Strong's H 5172. Nachash. Nachash.
Nacha or something. I gotta get into the Hebrew, but it say Nacha. It say Nachash, but I'm pretty sure it's a Nacha or something like that. It say a primitive root properly to hiss, i.e., whisper, a magic spell. And didn't Esau put a spell upon the earth? They say he deceived the whole earth. The dragon deceived the whole earth. This was a man. The serpent was an actual man who practiced witchcraft. He was a warlock. He say generally the to prognosticate. Certainly divine enchanter, use enchantments learned by experience, indeed diligent observer. So it wasn't talking about an actual snake, man. It's talking about a man. You know, and we done figured it out through the spirit and power you have. Well, through the spirit and power you have by Shem Yahweh Shai, we understand it because we ain't figure a damn thing out. All this knowledge come from who? Those pastors who gonna feed us with knowledge and understanding, starting with Abel on down to those who came under him, the seven, who they call the seven, and on down to our apostles and elders now who have 100% truth now in the earth in these vital times to have it, man. You know, the truth has grown until the 100% truth right now. And GMS is that top Hebrew Israelite camp that holds their truth, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you got men and other camps that ain't considered GMS that teach the same doctrine, man. You know? But this is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 1, and say, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the keys of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, and he lay hold on the dragon, on the dragon, that old serpent, which is called the devil and Satan. They're speaking about Esau, and bound him 1,000 years. Yeah, going into the Byzantine, that 1,000 years he was bounded during the Byzantine Empire when Jake was ruling Europe. When Jake was ruling in Africa, when Jake was, ruling all these different landmasses, while Esau was in bondage. Rome, Jake was ruling all of that. Jake was over here in America ruling the Aztec, the Incas, the Mayans. You know, they was ruling in these lands. And Esau was bounded 1,000 years and cast him into the bottomless pit. Going into the bottomless pit is Europe and the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. And they was also in slavery. And bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him. Yeah, so he was bound. It wasn't nothing he can do. That's where the caveman narrative comes from. That he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years. Yeah, that's when he came with his enchantments, when those 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And that was going during the time of the 1300s, during the time of what is called the Renaissance era. And that main family that came up was the Bourgeois family. It say, and bound him 1,000 years and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loose a little season. We in the time of that little season. That little season is the 10 toes. That's that little season, the 10 toes mixed with miry, part iron, miry clay, man. The vision of Nebuchadnezzar, during the Babylonian rule over the southern kingdom, you know. And that's pretty much the point on it. So we didn't come from no serpent, snake-like people. No, we are humans, and we are what we are, man. We ain't evolve and all this old dumb shit, aliens and all. No, man. You Edomites are the serpent, that great dragon, which is called the serpent, that old serpent, the devil and Satan. That is talking about the Edomite race, you so-called white people, man. When the scriptures speak about that old serpent, the dragon, the devil and Satan, is speaking about you Edomites. First and foremost, you elite bankers, you top banking families of Esau, Edom. And your whole nation, man.
Gods are so much intertwined with this idea of the reptile, the divine serpent. Christianity ended up demonizing it, but for thousands and thousands of years, the serpent.
And the serpent ain't, he's a witch. He practiced left hand magic. He lied to you. He tempt you. He make you go against your power, man. Christianity, talking about Christianity, demonize it. What you trying to say? See, that's them trying to push their wickedness, man. Because this is an Edomite speaking. What you trying to say, that the serpent is this great being in the earth or something? No, man. The Lord is bringing this place down because he finna set up his kingdom, man.
Was considered a divine representation of God, even in the Bible originally.
See,
the serpent.
He trying to say that I knew he was gonna come. The serpent is a divine. No, man. This is that Egyptologist bullshit, mythological bullcrap, man. All serpent really mean is being. When you say serpent, you just going into being slick or sly or cunning. You know. That's why the Lord told us to be as wise as serpents, moving, under the radar. You don't see snakes all over the damn place, man. Just out the blue, you see a snake. You rarely will see a snake, man. A snake will be right by you and you won't see it because it blend in. It hide. It moves quietly. Swift. You know, it's swift in its sneakiness, man. It ain't talking about no damn metamorphosis, man. Nigga goddamn a snake at night, and then when the light hit him, he turned back into a human. No, man, that ain't what it's talking about.
Is not spoken of necessarily as evil. This is something that came way later. It's
And
because
it is evil, you know. In the likes that you put the scripture of, it's evil. Why? Because the Lord say, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live," a witch, a warlock, or whatever you may. And if you're a diviner, observer of time, one that casts magical spells, guess what? You are a warlock, you're a witch, and that's what Esau has mastered, man. You know, he mastered it in this time that we living in. That's why he got CERN and all these different and he put an enchantment on everything, man. The music, everything is an enchantment. It's a spell. The TV, television, the media, the social media. This nigga got enchantments every goddamn well. You know?
religions revered the serpent as being sacred. You find this in Hinduism. You see the Egyptians had the serpent coming out of the third eye on the,
And you see how he going into all these heathen nations, man. Of course, the Lord say, have no other God besides me in heaven and earth. All the gods of the nations are idols, man. The Lord coming to cast all this shit down, man. You know? So, of course, they got snakes and owls and eagles and hawk heads. And our people went into these other things as well. But, hey, the Lord say he was going to give us over to all that, man. But in the last days, his people going to wake up and turn back to him. You know?
The pharaohs, Native American cultures, all the way from North to South America, talk about the serpents. It's such a reoccurring symbol found in nearly every tradition. Weirdly, who knows why? No one knows why. There's a great book called The Cosmic Serpent you can read that talks about some of this in the context of shamanism, but in the context of reptilians, this is an interesting thing because so many cultures are saying that we come from reptiles.
Are you still a practice?
That don't even make sense. Okay, we come from reptile. Why the fuck we are mammals? Why the hell do reptiles have egg? Why the fuck you ain't sitting, your big head ass ain't sitting on the damn egg when you have your baby? Of not sitting on, you got a nest full of eggs. Come from no damn reptiles, man. You know? Everything was created in the fifth day. and ain't nothing go to evolving and all that shit. No, man, that's all mythology, man.
Christian? Sorry, and you don't have to answer that. I really want to put you on the spot.
I'd love to. I very much still consider myself a Christian. Today, 2,000 years later, this notion of personal, direct experience of the divine. Something was happening in those centuries to turn this carpenter's son into the most famous human being who ever lived. Something was happening for this illegal cult of a dozen or so illiterate day laborers to convert the entire Roman Empire in only a couple centuries and become the world's biggest religion.
Well, that's also the great mystery that's in your book, too, because the Eleusinian mysteries are going along for 2,000 years, let's say, and then they're disrupted, and Christianity comes along, and there's a hallucinogenic end to it. So what was it about, what happened? Something happened that isn't merely a continuation of the shamanic psychedelic tradition, or that's what you have to think if you're a Christian.
Now, he talking about some crazy shit, but basically he's saying it was a pause in the history of the Bible. That's basically what he getting at. Because he going into, it was 2,000 years, then it was basically a pause after John the Revelator, like it just stopped. No, what happened was the Lord say it's going to be a falling away. You know? that we was gonna discontinue from our heritage. See, the Bible ain't dealing with no damn. This is not about Christians and Christianity. No, the Bible is not. That ain't what it's talking about, man. This book is only for the nation of Israel. It ain't for every goddamn body who believe. That's not what the Bible is speaking about. It ain't for everybody. Everybody who believes. Just hold hands and we're gonna twirl in circles, man.
But that's also what you have to think historically, because Christianity did do exactly what you said it did. And so that's something I'm very interested in this I'm very interested in Christian ideas. I'm very interested in the continuity of religious experience across tens of thousands of years, and maybe more than that. And I don't understand at all what constitutes the shift that occurs from the transformation from the pagan structures, let's say, predicated as they might have been on hallucinogenic experience, extending way back into the shamanic depths of time. God only knows how long. There's some transformation, though, that's specific to Christianity that's tangled up with the hallucinogen use that I don't understand at all, and that has something to do as well with this idea of the defeat of death and the resurrection of the body and all of this mystical elements and the hallucinogenic elements of Christianity that are integrated into the book of Revelation and so on. So there's a pharmacological story, but there's a story of the transformation of religious ideation that also is a complete mystery. Why was Christ able to displace Dionysius, let's say? And what does it signify that that was the case?
There was something else that was inspiring people to abandon the faith of their ancestors, perfectly good religion, like Eleusis, by the way, which survives all the way through the early Christian period. The mysteries of Dionysus, a perfectly good religion to the Greek speakers of Greece and elsewhere.
See, what was going on was they were worshiping idols, man. No damn, that was all wickedness, man. And that's what the Israelites was going into, man. The heathens still worship all this shit. You know, our people was going into all these wicked idols and deities, and you know the Bible speak about Dionysus, because I think that's what they talking about. I want to say in the church of Ephesus worshiping Dionysus or something like that. One of those churches, man. Damn, Salaki. I gotta figure out back where I was. Salaki. Oh, went too far.
Let's say. And what does it signify that that was the case?
There was something else that was inspiring people to abandon the faith of their ancestors, perfectly good religion, like Eleusis, by the way, which survives all the way through the early Christian period. The mysteries of Dionysus, a perfectly good religion to the Greek speakers of Greece and elsewhere, that survives before, during, and after the life of Jesus. So,
and you see also these odd correspondences between the development of Christian ideas and the mysteries of facing death that you described that aren't trivial. So Christ is crucified, he dies. 3 days later, he spends time in the underworld, he spends time in hell, he resurrects. That's a dying.
You hear this shit, man? The Edomites don't have a fucking clue. You know? Unless he's saying he spent time in hell as far as in the grave, because that's what hell is. You know? Ain't no such thing as hell where you burn with fire. I'm just throw that out there. I don't know what he's trying to say, but unless he's saying he spent 3 days in the grave, that did happen, but he wasn't in no hell like what the Edomites probably thinking about. Let's see what else they say, because I ain't watched the video and then I'm just going through the spirit.
That's a death and resurrection story that's very much akin to a shamanic death and rebirth. And it's hard to believe that those ideas aren't in some manner integrally related, especially given that that's something that can be experienced as a consequence of chemical transformation. And then the next question is, what the hell does it mean that that sort of thing can be initiated in people repeatedly and reliably as a consequence of chemical manipulation?
But I do think that there is a way to access information beyond what we've taken in our own temporal existence through our own five senses.
In some ways, I really find that compelling, the notion that that information is already there, and you're simply just moving the attention of your mind to different parts of that.
Yeah. I mean, we have that with the radio. I mean, you got a frequency, you turn all this information. You
right.
could actually say right now, in the space between us, we have the whole world's knowledge that's up on the internet.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yep.
But
We
don't
just have
see
to
it.
tune in.
Yeah.
The experience of the psychedelic realm is more vivid than regular life, which is real strange, because it doesn't feel like you're on a drug, because you're still you. That's another part of it. It doesn't change like when you're drunk, it changes the way you think. Like you think different. This is not that. This is like you think the same way, but you're being confronted with something that's insanely alien. Just alien to everything that you know to be true. And then there's all these things around you that seem to be alive, and they seem to be talking to you and communicating with you. The last time I did it, there was a bunch of jokers that were giving me the finger, like jesters. Gestures with, like, they have the little bells.
Yeah.
They were all like shaking and giving me the finger and like spinning around, like going, "Fuck you." They were mocking me.
It
Yes.
opens up the possibility that religious experience or spiritual realities are a part of our basic nature as humans.
Well,
And
but it's worse than that.
That calls into question the validity of all the religions. It's so.
Well, I think it's worse. I think it opens up the possibility that they're correct.
They're correct. They have just defined it in their own.
Well,
manner.
yes. But I think the idea. This might be my own personal peccadillo, but I think the idea that there's something in the central religious doctrine that's fundamentally correct is much more terrifying than the idea that there isn't. That's how it looks to me. I mean, if there's something divine and immortal about human beings, and it's our ultimate ethical responsibility to let that shine into the world, and that's part of reality itself, then heaven help us when we don't manage that. That's how it looks to me.
Ain't nothing divine and immortal about you heathens, man. You motherfuckers going into slavery. The only thing that's divine and immortal in human beings is the Israelites, man. We're gonna be immortal, man, and we're gonna be divine, man. We're gonna be gods on the earth, man. And that's what these people trying to figure out, but they can't understand it. But the Lord gave it to us freely, man. The Lord gave us this knowledge. This is the top knowledge on the planet, man. These are fucking scientists and doctors and all this shit, and they trying to figure out what we know, man. We already know these things, man. We understand. We have a clear picture on what's coming. We ain't scratching our head trying to figure nothing out. No, we already know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the water of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, for giving us this knowledge, man. And waking us up in this vital time, man.
Yes, absolutely.
I've heard Freudian criticisms of religious belief, for example, that the belief in life after death is nothing but a myth that's designed to, what would you say, keep us in childhood denial of the terrible realities of our existence. But, that doesn't really account for the prevailing stories of hell, let's say, because if you're going to invent a religion that does nothing but satisfy your childish delusions, why would you bother with hell?
One interesting point about that has to do with ketamine, which is been approved as ketamine for depression, but it's used for anesthesia, and roughly 1/10 the anesthetic dose is a psychedelic dose. But as the operations get over and then people metabolize the ketamine, there's a process that they call the emergent phenomena. It's like as you're emerging from this tranquilized state, and that's where you pass through the psychedelic phase. And they don't prepare people for that. And what we see is that a lot of adults have difficult times with that. But children don't seem to have those problems. Children are a little bit more already in this kind of state.
That ketamine shit is a weird one, because a lot of people do it recreationally, and apparently they they blast off and go into other dimensions and shit, and they go into K-holes. And
Yeah, I never did it. I never tried it.
what is ketamine like after a catastrophic injury like that? Does it relieve the pain? Does it just put you in another dimension?
So ketamine is an MDA.
Pull this sucker right.
Yeah.
Just
And
grab it.
ketamine is an MDA antagonist in the brain, so it essentially is a dissociative. So the way that it feels, because we learned this in class as a medic and everything, but the way that it feels is kind of, it takes your perspective, and it's like, it always felt like a whirlwind if I was getting a push of it. But it's like you're starting to get your vision masked, and you're still there, but you're dipping into like subconscious, because you're still conscious. Because unconscious would mean that you're like, you pass out and you cannot have a gag reflex depending on how unconscious you are. So ketamine, I would close my eyes and immediately trip the most insane balls that you could imagine, and open them, and I'd be back in the room, and I'd be like, what the fuck?
Whoa.
And then a friend of mine, when I left my first rotation, he was an Air Force CCT that got blown up in the same village I had a few casualties in. He stepped on ID, he's an above the knee, some missing fingers, but when he was on ketamine, when he was awake and looking around, he'd see the walls on fire, and then there'd be like women, like white, pale skin in the corners, peeling the skin off their back, and he was like awake. And I was like, dude,
Holy
that's
shit.
like whatever, I don't know, it must be like someone's psychology when they go in, like set and setting type thing.
You said just moments ago that we co-evolved with mushrooms, and so what? Can you elaborate on that a bit? What do you mean?
Well, they certainly precede us. Plants go back about 470 million years. If you talk to Paul Stamets, he will say there's a fossilized mushroom that's 2.5 billion.
This nigga don't know what it. Man, these Edomites, they fucking through. Let's go back. All right, let's go to Peter's real quick. You know, I just finding the point to jump in because I don't like these psychedelic. I don't like these videos, but hey, it is what it is, man. Esau don't know what the hell going on. This nigga so lost. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse. Let's get straight to the point and then let's go to Genesis. The 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. It say, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. So we gotta get that understanding. Now let's go to Genesis 1. Cause he's talking about this many million years old and that many years old. No, man. This the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 1. It say in the beginning, it say God, but we know when you go into the root word of that, to the word God, it's in the blue letter of Genesis is Elohim. So the powers created the heaven. So like it. And one thing is another. This Genesis 1 and 1. It say, in the beginning, God created the heaven. We know that Elohim created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, going into outer space, one number darkness. And the spirit of the Elohim, the spirit of the powers of God, moved upon the face of the waters, going into the outer space where there was just blackness. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And the Elohim, or the power, saw the light, and it was good. And the Elohim divided the light from darkness, a perfect balance. It say, and the Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning was the first day. This is the first 1,000 years of creation. It's saying God said, let there be a firmament going into your atmosphere. You know, it was a ball, a ball form, you know, to hold in the elements, you know. It say, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Yeah. So a ball was formed, and basically, you can say, damn, what it's called, a force field, so to speak, but not really. And it held in the elements of the sphere of the earth, inside the earth, and separated the elements in the waters from the waters. It made a circle to create the planet, so to speak. That's what the angels were doing. It say in the powers, the Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters from the waters which are under the firmament, and from the waters which are above the firmament. And it was so. And the Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the firmament heaven, the sky. That's part of the heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. It say and that's the second 1,000 year. And the Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together until one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. So you had the ocean, because before the flood, the earth was one big landmass called Pangea, if I ain't mistaken. It say in the Elohim, the powers called the dry land earth, and gathered together the waters, and he called sea, the oceans, and the ocean. And God saw that it was good, and the Elohim said, and the Elohim saw that it was good, and the Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed, and fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the third day. So the plants and the herbs and the grass and the trees, all these things came when? In the if I ain't what it is, the first day the Lord created light and darkness. The second day the firmament was created. The third day, it was in the third day when these things happened. So let's keep going. That's the third 1,000 year. And the Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and season and day, and for days and years, going to the months and stuff, the months, the weeks, the days, the keeping track of time. And let them be for lights in the it say, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Yeah, to get a light unto the plants and the different things of that nature. Well, the plants was only the plants, the trees, the grass. It say, and God made a greater light, the sun, and the greater light to rule the day, the sun, and a lesser light to rule the night, the moon. And he made the stars also. And God said, and the Elohim, the power, set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and rule over the day from the darkness. Salaki. It say, and rule over the day and the night, and over the night, and divided the light from the darkness. And the powers, the Elohim, saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. So we're going into the fourth day now. Or the fifth day, Salakia. It say, and the Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the 4,000 year. It say, and the Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly moving creatures that have life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And the Elohim created great whales. And when you go into that word great whales, if I ain't mistaken, I think it go into like dinosaurs and things of that nature, of monsters, like well, let me look it up. I think I'm in Genesis anyway. Let's look it up. What that word great whales mean. Now we know that a whale is going into. Let's go back. Look it up in the blue letter. It say dragon, serpent, sea monster, dragon, or dinosaurs, sea or river monster, serpent, venomous snakes. So that's what it's talking about when it say great whales. Dragons, serpents, sea monsters, dragons, or dinosaurs, sea or river monsters, serpent, and venomous snakes. You know? So hey. All these things were created when? On the fifth day, man. It say, and the Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the water brought forth abundantly. So are we not living creatures? We're a human being. We are living creatures. After their kind, and every winged fowl, all the birds, and after his kind, the Elohim saw that it was good, and the powers, and the Elohim blessed them and saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the sea, and let fowl multiply in the earth, and every in the evening and the morning were the fifth day." You know, so that's pretty much the point. Matter of fact, well, we keep going. It's saying God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures after his kind, and cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. You know, it's saying the Elohim, the powers, made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good. You know, so hey, all these things created in the fifth day, man. Yeah, all these things created in the fifth day. So the human, all the animals, every creature that creepeth upon the earth and in the waters, all these things came at the same time, man. You know, and what? The plants came, what, 1,000 years, 2,000 years before, you know? Not no billions and hundreds and millions of thousand years. No, man.
Years old, so the mushroom actually far precedes the plants that we know of. 391,000 species, 80,000 of which might be edible. This
nigga don't believe in the Bible, man. He believe in science, man. That's what Esau pulled out his ass. And Timothy tell you, avoid profane and vague babbling oppositions of science falsely so called, man. This false science, man. That shit ain't real, man. If Esau knew how old all this shit was, hell, this nigga don't know, man. Esau know, but he put all this bullshit out there to the people. He know that the earth not millions and trillions, gazillions of years old. This nigga came up with some science and told the people, this is science. This is this and this is that. And he taught it in these damn dumbass school systems. And that's what everybody think the truth is. But it's not, man.
In orders of millions of years before us. And let's just think about it commonsensically. If we weren't made to interact with our environment, why would these plants have an impact on us? Why are we equipped with CB1, CB2 receptors? Why are we equipped with the 5-HT2A receptor? Why do these things have any impact on us whatsoever? It seems that we've co-evolved together with our planet, and just maybe we're not aliens to it, but together these things are more allies than foes, in some cases, poisons though they may be.
Yeah, well, that's the question. Are they allies or foes?
Yeah, there's a quote from Carl Jung from just a few years before he died. What he says, and I'll just paraphrase it, is that we need to understand.
And these people that talk, these are goddamn Edomites, man. They finna go into slavery, man. Every last one of them, man. At least they may be a Jake. I think they fucking Edomites, and they ain't gonna be on the plantation, man. Working hard, man. Assholes and elbows, day in and day out.
And psychology. We need to understand who man is, that the greatest danger to us is man. There are no other dangers, really, that impact our species. And then he goes on to say,
the greatest danger is you goddamn Edomites. Not no damn man. It's you Edomites. You are the cancer of the earth. The cancer of the earth. That's why the Lord say in the book of Revelation, destroy him. Revelation 11 and 18, destroy him that destroyed the earth, man. You devils finna go down. In the time we living in, man. You can count your days, goddamn it. You ain't got long, man. You do not got long. Your ass finna go down. You Edomites is finna go. Goddamn devils.
That we are the source of all coming evil. Now, this was...
You goddamn Edomites are the source of all upcoming, you evil devils, man. And the Lord is finna bring evil upon your ass, man. You finna fall in the pit that you dug, man. The Lord finna tear your ass up. and the earth ain't going, don't worry about the earth. You worry about your own self, man. You finna go into slavery. The earth gonna be all right. America is gonna be a desert, and you heathens, you Edomites, on down to Japhet. Y'all let going into captivity, man.
15 years or so after World War II. But yeah, and I'd say one of the most important psychedelic experiences of my life was a DMT experience. Also, Terrence was there.
Goddamn.
And this is where this kind of intellectual honesty, I guess you could say. I just thought, well, if I'm part of everything and everything's part of me, then it's not just the good parts, that Hitler's part of me too.
Yeah.
And that was just this shock, like a stone sunk, and I just was very moody for the whole next day. But it was that acknowledgement that each of us carries these potentials, and what we activate is what matters, but what our potential are is the whole full range of things.
The mushrooms want you to like them. And so the first time you do it, they're going to welcome you. The mushroom's going to talk to you, we'll help you. And then one day they're going to trick you into taking a large dose, and then you're going to meet the aliens. Then you're going to realize that this dimension that we live in is connected to neighboring dimensions that are accessible through certain psychedelics. And then once you see that, you can never unsee it. It's regular life loses its seriousness. It loses like 20% of its seriousness. It's still serious, still regular life, but 20% of it goes away forever, because you know that that's possible. You know that these other worlds exist, and that Other people are just out there running through their entire life from birth to death, and they never experience those worlds. And that's weird.
One of them, Grace Scott, offered us a preview of the future.
If you had told me before I went to Peru and worked with ayahuasca, if you had asked me whether telepathy was real, I would say, well, I don't know because I've never experienced it. But to have it happen to me, all I can tell you is that my experience of it was so true and real and provable that there's no doubt in my mind that it.
And they gonna give your ass some shrooms and send you to the metaverse, goddammit. These are fucking Romans, man. These are the heathen, man. These are the Edomites, man, that the Bible speak of, man. They got the damn little glad. They gonna send your ass to the metaverse with a batch of shrooms to your left and to your right. And some 3D meat and goddamn and let you have at it, man.
That it is possible to have this sort of telepathic connection with other people, because I experienced it 2 or 3 times.
You're gonna be able to create your own business, and you're gonna be able to do all that shit. Like brothers say, goddamn, you gonna have to pass. So no, man, we looking for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, where these heathens, these Edomites first and foremost, gonna be under our fucking feet, man. Run a damn company, and these niggas still in the way, man. In power, man. You gotta pay your taxes to them. Get your business license through them. Hell you talking about, man? Niggas goddamn in the metaverse, goddamn creating a planet. Man, fuck all that. We want to do this in the earth, man. In reality, man. Not in Esau's fake society, man. On the computer. You in the damn computer. Moving shit with your mind. Eating shrooms.
And one of the times it was most remarkable was when we went into the ceremony to take ayahuasca. I think it was the first night. It was like 27 people were there, 26 people. And there was a woman that came in. She was from Lima. I think she had driven in from Lima. We were in Cusco. We start taking ayahuasca, and it was going to the left. So she was like the third or fourth person to take, take the ayahuasca. And so I was probably maybe 18, 19 in. So when they turned the lights out and when the ceremony started, I could hear people getting sick, and it was just going around the room. And after it came to me, and after I started to get into that, whatever that space is that you go into with ayahuasca, she was making sort of grunting, and it sounded like she was sick, but she was also sounded like she was in pain. And I had this image of her face, turning into a monster where the nose and the lips was stretching out, almost like a werewolf. Like her face was stretching, and she was turning into this beast. And it was as clear as I could see anything in my waking life. It was very clear. And it scared me, it frightened me, and I made note of it just because it was so odd. It wasn't until the next morning, and we'd never talked, because she came in late, and then I didn't see her until the next morning when we had breakfast.
Yeah.
And she sat down beside me, and we started talking, and I wanted to tell her about that vision of her turning into this monster out there. I thought it might be offensive, but before I could even tell her, it was maybe 2 or 3 minutes into our conversation, she said to me, the weirdest thing happened to me when I first started going into this ayahuasca journey. She said, I started to feel my face stretching, and I was turning into, I don't know if she used the word werewolf, but she said she started.
That was a demon. A demon jumped on her dumb ass.
Turning into a monster where the face was stretching out.
Right.
So I said to her, that's an amazing experience because I actually saw that. And were we seeing that at the same time? And anybody who's experienced the ayahuasca journey, especially with multiple people, there is a frequency that you get to that is a hive mind frequency where all of you are on the same plane.
Yeah, synchronicity is a thing. I mean, no matter how much I fought it for the longest time. I try to be the most skeptical person ever, but once you go into ayahuasca and psychedelics, it's inevitable. It's there. It's a thing. It's been measured
It's
too.
totally real. It's absolutely
It's just
absolutely
hard.
real.
It's
And
so
here's
hard to
what's
grasp for a lot of us, though.
and here's what's so strange is that scientists will say, well, it has to be, you have to be able to replicate it. Well, every single time people take this, they replicate the same experience.
Exactly.
That's pretty much the point. Esau had goddamn drugged that demons on their ass, plaguing them. And they like, it's amazing. These are the Romans back today getting ready to go back into captivity, man. And the way they got down, they going on death row this time. Ain't no getting no release date this time. They ain't going on death row. But with that, Lord, when this edifying, I want to end to giving all honor and glory to Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai Basham, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Rule Web, and the great example to his younger brothers in the truth. And peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Kwam Yashala and the Baba Shalom.